This is Brad Rudin, Director of Agronomy Tech Services with South Dakota Wheat Growers, out in the field today with a Tech Tips update. I want to spend a little bit of time visiting about variety selection and seed treatments for the upcoming 2017 growing season. We're not far from our seed selection process for 2017, and if you're interested in finding out more about soybean varieties that are available through South Dakota Wheat Growers, like the new dicamba tolerant soybeans or any of the other varieties that we would offer, please visit with your local sales agronomist and attend one of the agronomy tours at many of our wheat growers locations, which will be happening over the next several weeks. We're standing in front of our premier seed treatment plot here at South Dakota Wheat Growers. This would be Cruiser Max Vibrance seed treatment along with Preside CL inoculant. I often get questions as to whether there are some long-term effects of seed treatments that we can see even at this time of the year when we're at pod fill stage, or whether those effects are just isolated to the first few weeks of the year. We'll zoom in on some of the plants that we'll dig out of these plots here, and I think the answer will become very clear. We just took a few minutes of time to be able to dig some plants out of the plots. On the left-hand side of this storyboard, you can see soybeans that we dug from our untreated plot, and then we went to the same location down the length of the plot in our full bore seed treatment program, our Cruiser Max Vibrance plus Preside CL inoculant. If we zoom in on these plants, I think there's an interesting story to tell. In our untreated plot, we'll look at the soybean plants here and look just at stem diameter right now. We'll see some very large stems in here from some plants that came out of the ground very quickly, but we'll also find some very small plants here that emerged much later than those larger plants. These plants simply do not have the pod development on them, and they will never catch up for the remainder of the growing season. If we contrast those plants with the 5 plants that we dug in the Cruiser Max Vibrance seed treatment plot out here in this demonstration, you can see a much different case. We have very large, very consistent stem size across all 5 of these plants. And if we look at the plant development up top, we have good pod set. And if we look at the base of these plants, we'll see some very large roots, and on these roots are some very, very good nodulation. This is an indication that these plants are healthy and are actively fixing nitrogen at this very critical time of the year when we're looking at pod fill. The investment that a grower puts in a full seed treatment program like Cruiser Max Vibrance plus an inoculant like Preside CL will absolutely pay dividends on a consistent basis for that grower every year. If you're interested in finding out more, again, visit with your local wheat growers agronomist at any of our agronomy locations in eastern and central South Dakota and southern North Dakota. Be safe and have a productive growing season.